This Birkin bag at Hermes Boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost out of the factory? Today,
I ended up on Chinese warehouse TikTok, and they're leaking all the secrets about how our stuff is made.
Did you know who actually manufactures for Sephora?
The luxury game is clemency. Time to expose their biggest secret.
Well, since Trump put out all these tariffs, the Chinese are taking down luxury goods. Honey, I don't know if you've heard the news. I don't know where you've been, but we're going to talk about it today.
China is eating our asses up. They're actually, baby, they're eating everybody up.
Have you seen the number of Chinese on social media busting wide open the doors or opening the curtains to the luxury market, exposing all these luxury brands?
Did y'all see we got Nike, we got Gucci in the TikTok shop? Huh? Who knew? Search name brand items, we got it now. China to put it on because it's all made at the same factory and they are giving it to us to sell since our president teed them off. Check it out.
Your Chanel cosmetics, 80% are made in China and cost only $5. They just add the logo in France and charge you 10 to 40 times the price. Close your eyes. If your Chanel cosmetics says made in China, will it feel cheaper? It's not about quality, it's about brand washing.
All these manufacturers in China that have pretty much boldly come out to say, oh, you guys think you're buying from Italy? You think you're buying this from France? Oh, no, honey. It's coming from China. And we're going to show it to you. And we're going to tell you where all of these manufacturers are so that you can cut out the middleman. You can cut out these luxury designer brands and come directly to us. And while the Chinese are busy exposing all the secrets that all these European brands don't want you to know, the Africans and the Black Americans have also joined the chat. Because guess what? A lot of those luxury designer bags may be made in China, but guess where the leather is coming from? Guess where the leather is coming from? Africa.
The bags come from China, but the leather comes from Nigeria. The bags are manufactured in China, but the leather, the exotic skins, the snake skin, the alligator, it comes from Kano, Nigeria.
So yes, honey, the tea is hot. This is a very interesting discussion about luxury goods, and it really makes you think. If you are a critical thinker about how luxury goods, not all, but a lot of them, are all about perception. It's all about brainwashing, mindset. We think if this comes from Italy, or if it comes from France, or if it comes from somewhere European, then clearly it is of a higher value and clearly it is made better. And now all of that is getting blown out the water, blown out of the gate, okay? So anyway, we're gonna talk about it. I'm going to share some videos with y'all, but in the meantime, I'm also going to be doing my hair because guess what? I need to do my hair. I really need to do my hair, but I also wanted to bring you this video, so why not do both? So before you go in the comments and say, why was this girl doing her hair? What does that got anything to do with luxury and whatever? I need to do my hair. I'm going to go ahead, I think, and straighten it, which is something I haven't done in a long time. Bantu knots. I just washed it and blow dried it last night. I don't have any products on it. I'm just going to use my flat iron and try to straighten it. So how did we get here? Or at least this is my opinion of how we got here. So Trump places all these tariffs, right? Making it difficult for the Chinese to do business. And China decided to be a little petty and decided, you know what? Since you don't want us to make money, and since so many of these luxury brands have treated us so poorly anyway, we're just going to get rid of the middleman, all of these luxury brands, and reveal their deception and work directly with the American consumers. So in other words, we're going to reveal all of their sources because now we don't have any alliance to any of these European or American luxury brands.
They rob you blind and you thank them for it. That's a tragedy. That's a scam. That's why I'm saying this right now. Americans, you don't need a tariff. You need a revolution. For decades, your government and oligarchs ship your job to China, not for diplomacy, not for peace, but to exploit cheap labors. And in the process, they hollowed out your middle class, crushed your working class, and told you to be proud while they sold your future for profit. And yes, China made money, but we used it to build roads, lift millions out of poverty, fund healthcare, raise living standard. We reinvested in our people. My family also benefited from it. What did your oligarchs do? They bought yachts, private jets, mansions with golf course driveways. They manipulate the market, dodged tax, and poured billions into endless wars. And you get stagnated wages, crippling healthcare costs, cheap dopamine, debt, and flag wave property made in China while they pick your pocket. For 40 years, both China and the United States benefit from the trade, the manufacturing, but only one of us use that wealth to build. This isn't China's fault. This is yours. You let this happen. You let the oligarchs feed you lies while they made you fat, poor, and addicted. Now they blame China for mess they made. I don't think so. I don't think you need another tariff. You need to wake up. You need to take your country back. I think you need a revolution.
Okay, back to the subject of designer goods, particularly designer bags. Why are we so obsessed with luxury goods, right? Why are we so obsessed with Gucci, Prada, Dior, Louis Vuitton? Because for many people, wearing designer items is a form of soft power, right? If I wear this article of clothing or if I wear this, luxury bag, I will be perceived as wealthy and successful, and it shows I can afford a lot. And in turn, I am hoping to be treated better because I look better and I am special and I am treated special, right? At least this is what some people feel when they wear these designer items. And particularly in the US, luxury goods are very aspirational. It's like desirable, high demand, exclusive, limited quantity. At least they've done an amazing job, these designer brands, in making us feel like we are lucky that we spend lots of money on their brand, despite the fact that we spent the money and sacrificed to get this item, right? But everyone wants to be perceived as having something exclusive and high class, right? And all of that is European, right? Because Europe is the gold standard of quality and not China.
This Birkin bag at Hermes boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost out of the factory? Today, I'm going to break it down in front of you, step by step. First thing first, actually the Rolls Royce in thread. For each bag, the cost is 25 USD. And then the hardware. See, this hardware is called 316 hardware. It's also known as the ocean stainless steel because it can withstand the erosion of seawater. It's the best stainless steel.
I'm tired. I think it's been 2 hours. It's literally taken me an hour a section and I still have this part to do. Oh my God. Please come through the screen and do it for me.
French artisans is much more expensive than Chinese artisans. To finish one bag, the human resource cost will be 600 USD. The package, this is not that expensive, it's 10 USD. So now to sum those up, the total cost will be 1,400 USD for one Birkin out of factory. But why Hermes will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag? That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo. If you do not care about the logo, you just want the same quality, same material, you can just buy from us.
Step into the light, Caroline. Them bags ain't being made in Italy. They're being made right here in China, being repackaged in Italy, and they're putting that little stamp, made in Italy. He said, does the quality change if you saw made in China? He said, how would you feel if you found out it was made in China? He said, come to me and get the product. China said, y'all gonna go low, we gonna drive y'all to hell. Baby, I just want y'all to know, If y'all see my sisters with some Birkins, they the real Birkins. We went straight to China. Hey, I mean, if I could get them a Birkin for 200, 300, and it's the real spill deal, I don't mind that motherfucker saying made in China.
Hi, so if you guys haven't seen what's going on with Chinese manufacturers on TikTok, you have to look this up. Like I'm sure many of you have, I ended up on Chinese warehouse TikTok, and they're leaking all the secrets about how our stuff is made. For example, Birkin bags that are like $38,000, they show how they're made, and honestly, the quality was really good. But altogether, those Birkin bags that are $38,000 came out to about $1,600. Laundry pods were $20 for $1. And in America, that would have been like, what, $13? And the craziest part is they're showing people how to order directly from the manufacturer in China to where you can avoid the tariffs and not pay American prices for any of those products. And we're talking every shoe brand you've ever worn, every clothing brand you've ever worn, anything that you buy, they have shown us how to order it for a fraction of the price. It is such an epic level of petty, and I love it so much. And the thing is, what do American companies think we're gonna do? We're gonna pay their prices rather than Chinese prices when I can get 1,000 times more product for the same price as we get here. We're not going to do that. These Chinese companies called our bluff. They were like, oh, you want to put a tariff on us? Okay, here's every product you buy in America at an inflated price for a fraction of the cost. This is the craziest Uno reverse card I've ever seen in my life.
Do you know how much a Chinese factory make for a pair of Nike shoes? $10, which sells $150 on the shelf. A Stanley Cup, $50. The factory gets $1. But when they sell millions of them, that's millions of dollars. And all surplus. That's where the surplus comes from. But for every $1 the factory made, somebody in America is making $49. Who is benefit from the globalization?
Who are the suppliers behind the Lululemon? Number 1, Xianglong Apparel, who supplies the most yoga suits, and it is also the OEM for Fila and Under Armour. Number 2, Hongqisheng Clothing, who produces yoga suits for Lululemon. Lululemon sells this jacket for nearly $100, but here only costs you $6 to $5 with similar fabric and quality. If you want to get in touch with suitable sportswear supplier, contact with me. I'm Rosie from Yiwu, China.
Yes, it's all made in China, but I'm not here for the bags. I'm here for the furniture, the laundry pods, the cars, the houses. Because I just saw a lady in a very nice factory in China telling us that we can buy 50 laundry pods for $1 because they're the ones who manufacture Tide and Gain, while we're here paying $20 for a yeah, I'm gonna need 2 pallets of those. Next thing I saw was the furniture and the prices. Baby, we're over here paying $3,000, $5,000, even $6,000 for couches. Then I saw them advertising the cars. The cars we're paying $50,000 and $60,000 for, they're selling for $10,000. And not only are these cars more advanced, like way better than the stuff we got over here. And the last thing I saw were the houses. They have these beautiful luxury homes. They're like a mixture between an RV and a trailer home. They were like, for $11,000, this could be yours. We could literally end homelessness in this country if we had that over here. I'm gonna need about 10 of those.
The luxury game is clumsy. Time to expose their biggest secret. These bags you love, all made in China. Chanel, Gucci, Hermes, they've used our workshops for decades, but you'll never see made in China on their tags.
Hermes can shut this shit down right now. All they have to do is make a video. Show us the factory in France. Show us the French artisans stitching the bags up. That's it. That's all they have to do, and they could shut it all down right now. But they're not going to do that, are they?
Finally finished straightening my hair. It's not perfect. It needs a trim, and it's not that silky yet. But anyway, back to the subject. We need to be careful, even though all of these Chinese factories are trying to get our attention because obviously it will benefit them. And I also understand that not all factories produce things at the same quality, right? So we need to be mindful that even if you're planning to do business with some of these Chinese factories, that the quality is not going to be the same. Just because some of them can make some of the items close to the quality of Birkins made in France, I don't think, honestly, it is identical. But that's just my opinion.
Is Hermes made in China? No. I cannot sleep because I just found out that Bethany Frankel follows me back. Anyway, I think we all see the guy from China, I think Wen San. He heavily implied that he makes Hermes bags. It's not true. He doesn't make Birkins. Birkins are not made in China. Do I think he can make mirror quality Birkin bags? Yes. It's not rocket science. He might not be able to find the exact same leather and hardware, but you can get very close. But it's not the bag that Hermes sells.
It's so funny how gullible the people are, especially in a Chinese app, about the China making all the luxury goods. I don't know about Louis Vuitton and all those brands, but Hermes at least, there's very well documented proof that there's over 400 graduates a year in France that they are trained to do the handwork.
Where 400 graduates a year are schooled in the art of savoir-faire, or know-how of making things by hand.
China is known, and it has been known for decades, to be the best in copying. No one is debating that. I mean, we all know that. Send it to China, is going to produce millions in 5 minutes. But that's exactly why you're not paying when you are putting the effort towards getting luxury brands.
Yeah, but you're talking about industrial production. You're applying your thinking structure of industrial production to craft. We're about craft. We're not machines. And we are not compromising on the quality of the way we make the bags. So if a craftsperson is not at the level, his or her bag will not go into the store.
Even if they've invested that 20 or 30 hours making it.
Yeah, I understand.
And there's no way of speeding it up and keeping quality.
Speed is the structuring value of the 20th century. We went from horse carriages to the internet. Are we going to be so obsessed with speed and immediate satisfaction? Maybe not. Maybe there is another form of relation to the world which is linked to patience, to taking the time of making things right. You cannot compress time at one point without compromising on quality.
And yes, it could be the same material, it could look exactly the same. But in brands like Hermes, for example, you're not just paying for the bag itself, you're paying for a history that goes over hundreds of years.
In 1837, Thierry Hermes began selling bespoke harnesses in Paris.
Boo, not playing. While my husband trims my hair, let's see what this lady who has lived in China and been married to someone Chinese has to say.
I tell y'all all the time, I only speak from personal experience. I do not make assumptions. Here is my personal experience with China. I did have a Chinese last name for 3 years. I had a Chinese father-in-law, and I flew through China 3 or 4 times. Okay, I had layovers in Hong Kong, Guangzhou, and Shanghai. So I spent some time in China. I spent some time in Chinese settings. I spent time around Chinese American people, and I had the benefit of having a Chinese last name, so that did bring about some assumptions that I was Chinese before they met me face to face. So I got some Chinese treatment every once in a while. With that being said, here's what I know about China based on my experience. Anytime I landed in China, I couldn't access Facebook, I couldn't access WhatsApp, I couldn't access Instagram. Do you know why? Because China is highly censored. They censor their population. This is why Chinese people do not have access to TikTok, except for right now, when all of a sudden they're pushing consumerism onto all of us. China is a semi-pseudo-communist country. China maintains whatever economic and governmental system that allows them to have complete control over their people. and over the market. They don't respect their own people. Their people don't have freedoms. Do you really think, you Americans, do you really think that they respect you, that they respect us? No, absolutely not. There is a reason why these people are on TikTok all of a sudden, desperately pushing these items onto all of y'all. Because they do not have consumer power over there. All the consumer power is over here. Everything says made in China over here because we are the consumers. The consumers have the power. They need us to spend our money over there. Those of you Americans who are rooting for China, you're weird. You wouldn't last a day in China. First of all, you probably wouldn't even be able to get over there. They aren't even friendly when it comes to giving Americans visas, which is why I've only ever been in the airport, because you're not allowed to leave the airport in China. They don't hand out visas at the airport. You got to go through a process beforehand as an American. They don't respect us. They don't like us.
Now, certainly that lady made some good points, but in terms of Chinese people not liking us, I hate to overgeneralize about a whole group of people because I know that not to be true. There are good Chinese people. There are bad Chinese people. Same thing can be said about Americans, right? And, you know, personally, I am an American and I'm a fan of America and I want us to win. But I understand where China is coming from when it comes to at least particularly their luxury goods. I'm not talking about all of their politics. I'm not talking about their government. I'm talking about how they're handling this whole issue with luxury goods and exposing all the manufacturers. I get it. All right, what about the subject of leather made in Africa?
The bags come from China, but the leather comes from Nigeria. The bags are manufactured in China, but the leather, the exotic skins, the snake skin, the alligator, it comes from Kano, Nigeria. Come on in, let's talk about it. Yes, because I love that the Chinese manufacturers are coming on here and asserting that they are producing these luxury bags and luxury goods, but also Black people have a hand in that manufacturing by way of tanneries in Kano, Nigeria. So a tannery is a institution, a business in which you are converting animal products like skins, leather, suede, alligator skins, snake skins, all kinds of exotic skins into textiles so that they can be used for goods, clothing, bags. And Kano, Nigeria is headquarters, world headquarters for this practice. And they have long since been headquarters for hundreds of years. So I interviewed during the pandemic a man named Winston, and he leads a business out of Kano, Nigeria called Winston Leathers. And they are actually a third generation tannery. So he confirmed that his tannery produces leather goods and exotic skins for brands like LVMH, so Louis Vuitton's portfolio of brands, Ralph Lauren, many other luxury brands. But yeah, he shared that this practice of providing exotic skins to the world, but specifically to China, goes back to the Silk Road, when traders in Mali were providing leather goods up through Morocco and on into Asia. Moroccan leather is known for its quality, and Winston actually shared that Moroccan leather can be traced back to Kano, Nigeria, and it's actually Kano leather. So I love all the conversation that Chinese manufacturers have started around like amplifying that those goods are produced and manufactured in China. I want to go a layer deeper and talk about how Black people are actually contributing to the manufacturing as well, because the leather goods and the exotic skins that make up those bags that they're putting together in China actually started on the continent of Africa, in Nigeria. Okay, let's talk about it. If we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about all of it. And, sorry, I'm getting ready. I'm gonna put my brush down to talk about some bags that I love by Black designers. So this beauty is Antelope. This is by a brand called Brother Valet. A Black woman named Aurora James leads that brand. I still wear fur, don't kill me. I read a great New York Times article about how basically fur was phased out when Black women were able to access it in greater numbers. So basically, because Black women could access something that white people felt was exclusive to them, that's when they decided, oh no, vegan leather. And I am not a proponent of, inhumane treatment of animals, but I do love fur, and it is a part of Black womanhood, Black girlhood, rites of passage. We hand down fur coats. So I love a fur. Brother Valet has great bags, and they also benefit women in Africa who construct these bags. I want to talk about Hanifa. I can't get enough of Hanifa. I love Hanifa Muvemba as a person. And she is also a black designer from the continent of Africa. She is from Congo and she produces bags. This is a great bag. It comes in a larger size. It also comes in black, I believe, and maybe red. And yes, I love this bag. She sent this bag to me. Thank you so much, sister. Love this down and wear it. Okay. And we gotta talk about Loire. So Loire is headed by Raul Lopez. He is a person of color. And he's actually previously one half of Hood by Air. So if you're familiar with Hood by Air, they pioneered streetwear. He was one half of the duo who founded it and led it. So icon already. He circled back, okay, and hit us with another brand called Loire. This is the ostrich texture. This is 100% genuine leather. It's ostrich textured. I also have a smooth version of this bag in brown. And then I also want to shout out another black handbag designer named Wilglery. She has the brand Anima Iris. I had the pleasure of working with Wilglery when I was at Amazon. So I was brought to Amazon. Many of you know I work in luxury fashion. Hi, I'm Shelby. I'm a costume and fashion historian, a Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree, a Vogue Business 100 Innovator honoree, and a 10+ year veteran of the luxury fashion industry. And during my career journey, Amazon brought me over to stand up their luxury division. And so I onboarded luxury brands with an emphasis on black luxury brands, okay, and I got to onboard Anima Iris, and Wilglery and her team were amazing. Love her bags down, own more than a couple. They're not within my reach right now, but wanted to shout her out because her bags are still produced on the continent of Africa as well. So support her bags. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, girlies, because it has to go without saying. Black people are in the mix with a lot of things, okay? And this is one of them.
I don't know about you, but I thought that was interesting. Anyway, I just wanted to show you, like most girlies, I am also into bags, okay? I love some luxury. And now I don't know how I feel about it. I really don't know. I do know that I should consider other brands, but I certainly have loved the classics. And yeah, look at my bag from Africa, specifically Nigeria. So this is handmade and it was made over 30 years ago. So it is vintage snakeskin. And so by any standard, this would be considered luxury. It's handmade. I think for many of us, our mindset is going to have to change or is changing when we think about luxury goods, right? As a content creator, I find this really all interesting, especially when I think about the number of young women that are out there struggling to keep up appearances, pretending to look rich, buying designer handbags or renting designer handbags just to keep up with the look. It's understandable the movement towards quiet luxury and how flashy, gaudy, loud, large branding or logos aren't necessarily for everyone. Some people do like that whole flashy look though, but I just wish people could still be a little bit more authentic and comfortable in their own skin and not feel like they have to show all of these materialistic things. Right, folks, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found this interesting, and thanks for hanging out with me as I do my hair. Let's start a discussion in the comments section. I want to know what you feel about luxury items and whether you have any regrets about any of the luxury goods that you've bought. It may not be a bag. Maybe it's shoes. Maybe it's a watch. Maybe it's clothes. Yeah, what are your thoughts? And if you're thinking about starting a business, would you consider investing in manufacturing in Africa, or directly contacting the manufacturers, the wholesale manufacturers in China? Would you do that? Let me know in the comments section.